It is the year 2050, and the organization known as Venom has been terrorizing the globe. It is up to you to assemble an elite force and halt the Venom assault. So Venom Assault is a cooperative deck building game where you are trying to stop Venom in their tracks. So let me show you how to set up the game. First thing you're going to do is you're going to pick one of your top secret missions. You can do this by just picking it, or you can do it randomly. They actually suggest in the box to start with a World in Darkness. And as you can see, not all of the artwork is done in my copy that I have here, but it will be completed as soon as the Kickstarter is done. But what you're going to do is you're going to read a little blurb about what is going on, and then you're going to look down here in the setup. And for World of Darkness, what we're trying to do is we are trying to locate these 4 control cubes, the red, green, yellow, and blue control cubes. That'll be somewhere in the world in Venom's clutches. So you're trying to get those and defeat the leaders that are also there. And also we're going to have to liberate Venom Island. And I'll explain how liberating works in just a little bit. So let me get the board set up, and I will show you how the game is played. So in setting up the board, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to put a reward face down on all of the locations. Then you're going to take your Venom Leader deck that you've made according to the instructions, and you're going to place a Venom Leader face up on all of the locations. Once that is done, place your mission card here so everybody can see. And now you have to decide who your commander is. So the way you decide that is everybody that is playing the game are going to roll one of the d6, and whoever has the highest roll becomes the commander. Now the commander does have a special role in the game. If I can hold on to the token, they have a special role in the game where they are in charge of the event phase. The event phase happens once per round at the beginning of the commander's turn. You will start off with a beginning deck here, starting with 6 recruits, and you're also going to have 4 commandos. So to explain the cards here, everything for the Freedom Squadron cards is going to tell you what the name of the person is and what type it is. For example, these are all soldiers. There are also vehicles, which have a tank symbol, and there are also locations which have a map symbol. Then down here, you look at the dog tags, and if this character was down here in the training ground, this is how much they would cost to recruit. This is how much they give you in recruit points to recruit another soldier, and this is the amount of attack that they will have when they are your leader, when they're attacking one of the Venom leaders. So you're going to take your deck and give it a quick shuffle, and you're going to draw the top 5 cards for your opening hand. Also, we're going to fill the training ground with 5 cards here that we can try to get on our side to help us defeat Venom here. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to draw your opening hand after you shuffle your deck of 5 cards. Seeing what I have here is I have 3 recruits and 2 commandos. First thing you're going to do, if you are the commander, the very first thing you're going to go into is the event phase. So the event phase starts by you look at the board and see if anything has a global effect that happens during the event phase. And one of our bad guys does have something that happens during the event phase. So we look at his card here, and it says Global Effect for Ouroboros. All players must reveal their hand and discard one soldier of their choice if they have any. And this symbol down here means that there are some scenarios that specify Ouroboros. That just tells you that he's specific to certain scenarios. So what I'm going to look is I'm going to look at my hand here and decide, you know what, I will probably just get rid of 1 commando. So that just gets discarded into my discard pile. And now I only have 4 cards to deal with. The next thing you're going to do as the commander is you're going to pull the top card of the event deck and place into the active event pile. If there had already been an active card there, that one will go away and that one will go into the discard, and you replace it with this new card. So we have here Mind Games. Freedom Squadron finds out Venom plans to use mind control on NATO and use the leaders to sign over control to Venom. Freedom Squadron quickly stops Venom in their tracks. Yay! So global effect, tactical phase. Lower Venom leaders' support by 1. That's the support icon. I'll explain those in just a second. So that's kind of cool. They get rid of 1 support. So this goes into the active area so everybody remembers what's going on with the global effect. And then we go on to the beginning of our turn. The first phase is called the recruitment phase. And first you look for anything that says global effects during the recruitment phase. And those are tactical. No other global effects happen right now. So what you're going to do is you're going to play your cards one by one, and you're going to see who you can recruit. So let's pop down here. So I have a commando that gives me 1 recruit points, and 3 recruits that give me 2 each. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 points to be able to recruit somebody. So looking down here, Sundown costs 9. And we have some big old glare on there. That's fine. We have Corporal Carnage, who is my favorite card in the game. He costs 9, so we can't get him. We have Hardcore, which is 6, so we can think of him as an option. Drawbridge, who is a vehicle and costs 5. That's a possibility. Uplink, which is an 8, which is also one of my favorite characters in the game. But I can't afford Uplink with only 7 cards, 7 points. So I have to decide between Hardcore and Drawbridge if I wanted to pick somebody this round. So looking here, Hardcore gives me 5 guns. In the tactical phase, I can do +2 guns. In the combat phase, retire this card and count 2 combat dice as automatic successes. That's kind of nice. And Drawbridge, before Venom Leader's abilities, treat this combat as if we're in any single type zone that you choose. So there are some zone-specific abilities. If you see on the map here that each of the Venom leaders are in a specific zone. We have air zones, we have 2 Arctic zones, 2 sea zones, and 1 land zone. So sometimes stuff can be manipulated to make it a different zone to give you the advantage. But you know what? I think I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take Hardcore. So I take that card, and that goes right into my discard pile. Now I have to decide who I want to fight, because now is the tactical phase. So what you do is you go ahead and you look for somebody that you want to challenge. So let's see here. Who do I want to challenge? Yeah, let's see here. Well, let's go ahead and challenge Professor Mortis here. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at his numbers here, and we're going to adjust this track over here so that we can keep track of what's going on with his stats. So, according to the card, Professor Mortis has a health of 3 and defense of 2. So you put your health marker up to the 3, and your defense goes onto the 2 marker. Then you also look at the card here, and it shows that he has 4 support. So that's how many Venom support is going to come out to assist him in defense against the Freedom Squadron. So I'm going to put him back there. We've adjusted that. And now you look at his ability and you see what is going on. So it says after the combat leader is chosen. We haven't chosen that. So we go on to the next phase where you choose a combat leader. Now here's where some very interesting rules come into play here. I'm sorry for the glare. But what you're going to do is you're going to pick one of your cards that you have played to be your combat leader. Now, the very specific rule is if you've already used the text on the card, they cannot be a combat leader. This is to prevent overpowered cards and kind of mess up the balance of the game. It doesn't really matter right here because they don't have anything that I could use in any part of the game that I've already played so far. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this commando because he has 2 guns and the recruits have no guns to start off with. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use this commando as my leader. So I'm going to place him down as my leader. And then the 3 recruits here, those are just going to be my support. So I'm going to place those down there. Once you've done that, you go ahead and you allocate your dice. So my commando is going to get 2 dice because he has 2 guns. Now remember, because he is my leader, you cannot use his text. So he says +1 to the tactical phase. He does not get that, unfortunately. So then we're going to go back over to Professor Mortis and we're going to do his ability. After combat leader has been chosen, discard 1 random freedom support card, then place the top card of your draw deck into your discard pile. So, Professor here, he's going to get rid of one of my cards randomly. Since they're all recruits, it doesn't really matter. I can get rid of 1. If they were different, you'd shuffle them up and then discard 1. And then he also takes your top card, and that gets discarded as well. So another recruit went away. Not so bad in the very beginning of the game. Kind of bad when you have some really cool stuff that you really want to get out. So, once that has happened, then you're going to go ahead and you're going to bring out his support. So, his support is 4 on here. But remember, our event card that is active says that they get 1 less support. So he's only going to get 3 support cards to come out to help him. So now is when you draw those. So let me zoom in on that area here and get those 3 cards out. So we have some pythons, we have constrictors, and we have some sea serpents. Notice how everything is snake themed. So those are out. And now we go ahead and we look at our cards again and go ahead and apply any tactical phase stuff that happens. So these both give +1 dice. So the recruit and the recruit both get a die. So once those have been allocated, then you go ahead and you look at the Venom support and you go ahead from left to right and you do their stuff. So the pythons say +1 health. So you go ahead and you adjust the health track to +1. The constrictors have something that happens during... Whoa, where are we? That only happens during the combat phase, so we ignore that right now. And then the sea serpents. So then the sea serpents have something happen on the tactical phase. They have +1 health. So we're going to add the health up now to a 5. And then it says down here, if we are in the sea area, it also be +1 defense. Luckily we are not. We are fighting Professor Mortis in an air zone. So it says air. So that will go back there. Nothing additional will happen. So now what you're going to do is you're going to roll your combat dice. I have a total of 4 combat dice. And I'm going to roll those up here. Roll those right there in camera view. So I have a 1, 5, 6, and a 1. So then you see if they have an ability that happens in the combat. Nothing there. And then from left to right... Oh, you check and see if you have any combat stuff for your own people. I do not. I know the constrictors have something that happened in the combat zone. It says re-roll 1 successful combat die and subtract 1 from the result. So I re-roll that and I still get a 6, but that 6 now becomes a 5. And then you compare the combat dice against their health and defense track. So to look at the health and defense track, he is at a 5, 2. So that means I would have to roll 5 dice, 2 or higher. I only had 4 dice, so that is an automatic failure. And I had to, but unfortunately, I did not defeat Professor Mortis. So, nothing happens with that, unfortunately. He stays where he is, and there is no gain. So you go ahead and you discard these cards here. Make sure nothing happens at the end of the game, end of the round. Discard the Venom support. You're going to discard all cards that you had played. And you're going to draw 5 new cards. And seeing that I only have 4 cards here, I'll have to take my discard pile, shuffle that up, and I will draw a new card there. We will refill the training ground here, and it will go to the next player. You continue on until you've completed the goal. Now, remember, when it comes back to the commander's turn, they are going to pull a new event card. And to show you what some of the other event cards, I showed you one that was good for the good guys. There are things like all is quiet, so nothing bad happens, nothing good happens. There is stuff that are Venom cards, so they will give Venom an advantage and the Freedom Squadron a disadvantage. I've already shown you a good thing for the Freedom Squadron, but there's also these Venom Strike cards. Whenever you pull a Venom Strike card, the Venom event track will go up by 1. So you notch that up by 1, and then you look at your card here and you read this thing that happens and you see what Venom is doing, and they will probably do something to adjust the game a little bit. For this scenario, what they start doing is they start deactivating the cubes. The cubes give you a pretty awesome ability that you can use to knock down their health, their defense, or even their support. So that's just the basics of Venom Assault. You will continue on until you've completed your objective or Venom has won. For that one, as I said, you have to get all 4 control cubes and you have to liberate Venom Island. To liberate Venom Island, you have to defeat the bad guy there, and if there's still a reward and or a leader, it's going to refill. So you have to do that until it does not refill. Once it doesn't refill with anything, then you have successfully liberated that zone on the map. So this is definitely a grade A game. I really enjoy it. All of the artwork, I'm told, that is done now. It wasn't when I received it, but still it didn't deter from the game at all. I really enjoyed it. The artwork will just make it that much better. So definitely please check this out. I will have a link down below for their Kickstarter as soon as I have it. And as always, thank you for watching. All of my links there are off to the side, so please make sure that you share, like, support, and subscribe to Cloak and Meeple. Thanks. Special shout out to the Helm for sending me this awesome t-shirt. This is really cool. The eyes even glow in the dark. This is really cool. I really love this t-shirt. So please check out the comic book that I'm going to have right here. More like right there. So please definitely check that out, and check out the Helm at thehelmcomic.com and on Facebook and Twitter at thehelmcomic. Please check them out. They're not a sponsor. I'm not being paid for this, but this t-shirt is awesome. The comic book is awesome. Please check them out.
Alright, are we ready?
I mean,
Yeah.
I hope to God you roll, you know...
If I roll all once, well, this is going to be sad. Oh my god.
Did you even roll? Yeah, no, you
I rolled
rolled
one. Oh, and during the combat phase, we roll 1 success. In the air, we roll 2 successes instead, so... So I actually rolled 2 ones. The rest are all successful. So out of 21 dice, Unsuccessful with 19 on it.